Hi everyone, welcome to Potluck Food Talks. I'm here with my man, Ike Jimmy, aka Phil W.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
What has been going on? What's the news?
I traveled to Bolzano. Have you been in Bolzano? Südtirol?
Is that in the Alp region?
Yeah, exactly. It's North Italy, South Austria. So they speak Austrian, German, and they eat knödels.
I love that area. It's such a cool mix of like Austrian and Italian culture, and it's amazing food there also.
I was at Beam, like a super cool hospitality innovation summit.
Yeah.
And we had a dinner from a chef called Stefan Zippel. He has a restaurant called 1908.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go with a cable train, and it looked really nice, man. It's like a Michelin star place in an old building, but the food looked really nice. And so he cooked like in the event I was for the dinner. It was like a banquet, a group dinner. It was like a poached egg with a hay foam and wild herbs. Super nice. Super, super nice.
Oh, nice. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I think hay is like an underrated ingredient, honestly.
Absolutely. Like I never had it before the Nordic movement. That's the way I found out about it. But I'm pretty sure it has to be like a cooking ingredient that has been around for ages, for sure.
100%. You know, I think the first time I used hay to sort of smoke things, but I saw it especially in Japan. There's this thing where they spike a bonito fillet, so tuna fillet, and then over the grill, they throw a big handful of hay on, and it catches fire, and they hold the bonito right into the fire, which normally is very counterintuitive, right? We don't want things to be in the flame. And it just smokes the outside, and you make like a bonito tataki. Smokes and chars the outside, and then you slice it thickly. And usually, there we were eating it with like a mustard and soy sauce sort of thing. It was so tasty.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to go to Japan.
Yeah, and then later on, I used hay, which I really like. I would take also hay is not equal to hay. Like the hay that you buy to feed your hamsters isn't the hay that, you know, like a very high quality cattle farmer will service. You know, there's a lot of nuances. Like good hay has a lot of like wild herbs dried inside of it and slightly fermented maybe, you know. And I used to toast the hay in the oven until it's very gold, like deep brown. And then I would infuse it in milk. And it's like really crazy. You have this like almost like...
It's kind of like a caramel, right?
Yeah, but you have this like speculo, cinnamony kind of flavors.
Yeah, but very, very subtle. That's actually the first time I tried it was in a sweet ice cream. And I was like, wow, like it's incredible how something like this has been around all the time.
Yeah.
And I've never tried before. And on the other side, we're importing vanilla from Madagascar. You know, it's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. No, one time when I was hiking with my dad, one time when I was a teenager, I came across a really, really interesting condiment in an area of the Alps in Austria. And they told me, oh, this is really traditional here. So it was a jelly, so kind of like a jam, but a jelly made from apple. So apple juice, clear jelly, kind of like, I don't know, like a raspberry jelly, but like clear, lightly golden. And it was flavored with hay flowers. So the first time like the hay comes up with the flowers, they take that, they cut it off so that the hay like, you know, grows back. And in this first harvest of the hay, that's what they used to flavor this jelly. And sounding interestingly enough, they traditionally eat it with very ripe mountain cheese.
Okay, nice.
And I was like, man, that's so genius. Like that's such a fucking cool combination. Just like sweet and sour apple jelly with this like hay flavor together with like really like Gruyere style cheese. I was like, man, this is amazing.
Super nice. I also wanted to talk about the restaurant you're leading now, man. I've seen like you're having some good press, some good reviews, some acknowledgement. I also saw the dishes. It looks really, really nice, man. Congratulations about that.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, so this dish, what was it? Like fermented asparagus with like a hamachi? What was it exactly?
Oh yeah, that's like that dish actually changed now, but we had it on the menu for a while. I like to have like a crudo on the menu, so like a raw fish dish. And it's like hamachi, just sliced raw. And then we made a dressing out of, we had all this like asparagus peel and asparagus offcuts because it was just now white asparagus season, right? So we had a lot of asparagus peel. Part of it we made into soup, but there's only so much asparagus soup that people can eat, So we had all this asparagus peel. We're kind of like, well, what should we do with it? And one of our chefs, Olya, had the idea of fermenting it in brine. She's a fermentation wizard. And so she did. It was like a 3% salt brine with like other stuff. And what came out was a very light, very lightly funky, very, very umami, delicious, refreshing asparagus water. And it was just kind of standing there. We weren't really sure what to do with it. And I was kind of like, why don't we use it as a dressing for the fish? And it like would work perfectly because it's kind of like an aguachile, just much lighter.
Super nice. It's like a kind of like an alpine, or not alpine, like a Brandenburgian aguachile, right?
Kind of, yes. Kind of, yeah.
Where's the fish from? What fish are you using?
Right now we're using hamachi, which we're getting from, so basically all the fish that I buy comes from this company called Frisch Gefischt, which means freshly fished. And their focus is on doing sustainably caught, high quality fish. And this hamachi, actually, I can't tell you where the hamachi is from, which country, but it's they all like they're very focused on not selling fish that is endangered, that is caught with unethical practices, etc. And they're very seasonal also, which I really appreciate, which like I feel like people are kind of unaware of, that fish has a season also. Their fish isn't just always available. Like, for example, right now, I think 2 weeks ago, we got in the first shipments from them of plaice. Well, it's not quite plaice. It's like, in German, we call it Scholle. It's a flatfish.
Yeah, I know Scholle.
Yeah. And they're super nice, like amazing quality, about like 500, 600 grams heavy without the head, and perfect for like 2 people. And we just grill it on both sides, pull off the skin. So it's just the flesh. And then we just douse it in like a foamy vin jaune sauce and Café de Paris butter on top and a little bit of like Piment Espelette, and just send it out whole like that. And it's just so nice.
Can you shortly explain what a Café de Paris is?
I feel like I explained this before.
Yeah? We did a video reaction about it. I remember.
Okay. So a Café de Paris butter. Café de Paris is basically the most famous herb butter in the world. And there's like different variations on it. But basically you temper butter and you whip it up with other ingredients. Like, traditionally it's like shallots, anchovies, tarragon, paprika, a little bit of mustard, Worcestershire sauce, some curry powders usually in there, but we make it like a little bit more plain and more sort of like tarragon-y, paprika, shallots. So it's like a flavored butter, which is nice because you have the butter made and it cools down, and then it you don't never really heat it up, right? But it solidifies again. And then when you're serving the dish, you just put the butter in a hot pan. It comes up one time, just foams up. You pull it off because you don't want the butter to cook too much so the flavors don't go. But because it comes up to temperature one time, all the flavors like really expand and like awaken. And at the end of the day, you have this like big fish that's sort of like a little bit smoky, but very soft. And you have this like really nice kind of like very classic like wine sauce that's kind of broken with the flavored butter. It's just a very luxurious sort of dish. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so it's kind of like they do this fish, and I really appreciate working with somebody, especially with the fish industry being the way it is, where they're like, no, we don't sell this type of fish, or that I can talk to somebody and they're like, and I'm like, hey, how long is this? Like, for example, with the plaice, I was like, how long is this going to be available? And they're like, well, the season is starting. And I was like, well, how much availability is there? And they were sort of like, and they explained to me, with flatfish, you're basically in the green. Flatfish, we can eat almost as many as we want. They're not endangered at all. They're super sustainable. It's a green light, Whereas with other fish, like round fish, it's a little bit more gray area. And if you can, you should stay away from it just to let it like regenerate a little bit. And that's, obviously for me as a professional, is super nice.
Talking about fish, I recently had like a crazy experience. I'm going to Japan in December, so I'm super excited, and I'm getting tips from people from Japan. And my friend Barry, who lives there, he writes me and tells me, I have this friend who is visiting San Sebastian. Take him out. It will be highly repaid when you come to Japan, because this guy runs like a culture magazine called Matcha, like the tea.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, like an important thing to point out, he travels always wearing a kimono, like a traditional kimono.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like when I met him, he was like, yeah, this is for me like a way of communicating, And, he runs a culture magazine. I was checking the culture magazine, and they're like, I don't know, things to do in Kyoto, these kinds of contents, the hotel, this and that. And so like we had like a pincho lineup of 15 different pinchos we did. And after that, he helped me write my itinerary, like the cities. There is about 2 cities he mentioned that were not on my radar, which is super interesting. And then he said, I want to try a sushi, like something from here, someone who cooks sushi that represent the region here. And I immediately thought about Pincheira and Kai Sushi, because he has these sushis with Yasabal cheese, like this.
Yes.
And he was really impressed. We ate at the bar. I have to say, and perhaps this is not such a nice thing to say, because it's not like an autochthonous food from here, but I think that's my favorite restaurant here in the city. Like a normal casual restaurant, I fucking love it. Every time I go, I really enjoy. And so when he sent us like the sashimi dish, he had like this whole representation of like 5 different oceans, like this from here, this is like an Almadraba style of catching, and the scallop blew my mind. I was like, wow, what the fuck is this? And he told me he floated in from Hokkaido, so it was a Japanese scallop.
Oh, wow.
It was super, super nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
Nice. Okay, what else is new?
What are your thoughts on Jorge Breton leading Aquelarre? Crazy, right?
Hey, yeah, I mean, congratulations, Jorge, if you're listening to this, and, well deserved. I'm very looking forward to seeing what's coming out of it.
I mean, imagine this guy was like about, I think, 11 years coordinator of the Culinary Academia of Basque Culinary Center. So he has been in contact with all the chefs that go to BCC, which in 10 years have to be a couple of hundreds, top chefs, like to give lectures. So imagine not only the connections, but also all the knowledge that he accumulated in that time and that environment. Now to apply it to like a 3-star restaurant, I think it's amazing, man. I really want to go to it. I want to go there. And he told me, but give me time, man. Give me at least 1 year. and yeah.
Makes sense. I actually said the same thing to people who were like, oh, we're going to come to eat. I'm like, no, don't come yet.
Stay away from me.
And it's like, but yeah, that's the reason to go, I mean, like now, because, I mean, Aquelarre is a legend, right? But then we also have to be honest, nothing much has been going on there. And it wasn't really exciting for anybody who wanted, like, who was a little bit into like gastronomy. It wasn't really that exciting to go. Right.
Exactly. I have never been nor to Aquelarre or Arsac, because for me these places are like super classic right now. Like it's not like, I don't think I'm going to find a revelation if I go there. Like I can only think of 1 or 2 iconic dishes from Aquelarre. One is this, this gelatin that looks like a corkscrew.
Yeah.
And the other one is this a la minute curd, where they bring a milk that is liquid to the table side and it curds in front of you, and that's it. But these things are from the mid 2000s, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know any dish from them from the last 20 years.
No, I don't know anybody who worked there. I don't know anybody who stashed there. I don't know any like dishes where you're kind of like, oh wow,
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's very, very cool. And I mean, I've also never been there, but it must be an insanely beautiful restaurant.
I was there for a job interview 20 years ago, and it has to be one of the most beautiful restaurants in the world. Like with the sea views, it's amazing. It's really impressive. Like the architecture of the place, super nice.
Oh man, it would be my dream restaurant, honestly. Like overlooking the sea, like the Basque seaside.
Like if you're in the dining room, the only thing you see is the sea. You only see blue sea. That's it. So you feel like in the sky, it's crazy.
It's kind of like Michel Bras restaurant, where you just see like the fields, nothing else.
Exactly. But the restaurant is kind of like a cliff. So you only see the sea from above. Super nice.
Awesome. Well, I'm very, very excited to see what Jorge's going to do with the restaurant. And I'm looking forward to maybe we should plan a trip, and I need to come to San Sebastian really soon. I need to do a pilgrimship to Elcano and a pilgrimship to Etxebarri and a pilgrimship to the places in Donostia and maybe...
Ibai reopened. You heard about that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is monumental.
Ibai were two brothers. Alicio Garro was the head chef and his brother. And the brother passed away. So, and then COVID came, they closed the restaurant. It's crazy because they closed the restaurant and 4 years later they reopened. So the restaurant was COVID untouched. So like the whole bar is without the glasses that were mandatory during COVID, and all the bars have them. So it's kind of like it already was like a time trip back then.
Yeah.
And it really feels like that again. But also there has been changes, I wouldn't say that it has 100% the vibe it had, because it was very, I wouldn't say rustical because it was elegant, but it had a rustical vibe. You know what I mean?
Like an old school vibe.
Yeah. And also, like the service was moody, and it was like a very no bullshit cuisine, like.
The service was moody, and the dishes are also like old fashioned in a way. But because of their minimalism and their product quality and their execution, they're timeless, and they will never, ever feel. I actually, when we kind of briefly spoke about it the other day, I pulled up a blog post, which I still have open here because it's so fucking cool. And it's a blog post from 2015, which is a long time ago now. And that's 2 years after I ate there. And looking at the pictures now, it's a type of cooking and it's a type of cuisine that will never ever be old fashioned. It will never come out of date. It's like this could be 100 years ago. This could be 100 years in the future. It would always be valid and excellent. And for me, that's a very special way of cooking that you can say that about,
I went to eat there with Shinobu Namae because nobody had, he didn't have a translator to go there. And the waiters are moody and everybody was scared that they were going to scream at him or something, which they would definitely do if he goes there without a translator.
For sure. ¿Qué hace el chino aquí?
So it was cool to go with him because he was also like appreciating the whole thing. Like, look at the decoration and the place and the dishware and everything. I remember him saying when we had the merluza, the hake in salsa verde and green sauce, he was like, I could take a plane from Tokyo just to have this again. And I remember we also had like cocochas and we were about to eat them. The guy came from the kitchen, actually the brother of Garro, and he said, no, don't cut it. Eat it all in one bite. No, you never cut a cococha. These kind of things where the chef comes out of the kitchen to instruct you how to properly eat his food.
I love that. It's so unapologetically authentic. I remember when we went to eat there, we had a really great time. And then at the end of the dinner, we were like explaining that we're stagiaires from Ugaritz and stuff, and that it was an amazing experience. And we were sort of like, do you think we could maybe have a look in the kitchen quickly? And the guy was like, no. And we were like, okay, all right. Sorry.
I've seen pictures of the kitchen, like the old kitchen. It got completely renewed. So the project was taken by Paulo from Amelia.
Okay.
Which is, I think he's like a great entrepreneur, like he has to be one of the most Michelin star chefs in Spain right now. He has like a lot of projects, like in London, in Asia. He has Amelia, he has some other places, also smaller, smart casual restaurants. And now he took this. So I think he is the right guy to take something like this. But still, like these things are, it's like, it's always controversial. You heard about, there was like a couple of years ago, there was a rumor that Elcano was closing and that Danny Garcia was going to buy it and run it. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ! Imagine that.
It would be crazy, you know, but at the same time, I think it would for sure lose part of its essence, but it will also keep part of the essence. And there is no other way, you know, like you can keep it 100% with a different management.
Yeah, no.
And having a place like that and changing the whole concept, like let's say bar where Noma used to be, you know, like it's the same place, but a complete different concept, right?
That's true.
These are different things, you know, like
it's always hard to imagine, you know, that something so expressive, you know, is ever going to be replaced with something that is going to take that place, you know, which it doesn't. It's just a physical place, but it's something else. And I think the comparison that you made with bar and Noma is very good because, I mean, who would have thought that, you know, it's like when Noma leaves the space, it's kind of like, well, this is always going to be in the Noma space. It's like, yeah, fair enough. But
and I mean, I went there and I was impregnated with that historical vibe, you know, like because I never went to Noma, so I was like, oh, here's where all the things happened, right?
Yeah.
And it's the essence of the building, it's the history of the building, you know.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know you had a bad experience at bar, but
not at all. No, it was not a bad experience. I had there were some slips in the service, but I really enjoyed the food.
Okay, all right. It's because I'm sorry if I think that you had a bad time. It's because you were hating on it so much that, you know, it's why would I think that you had a bad time?
No. I said the food was nice. It just the service fucked us.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. All right. But yeah, it's like a really cool. Like I dig the restaurant concept of bar. I dig the food. It's like its own thing. You can see the Noma DNA, but it's like a new thing, and it's very, very cool. So yeah, but I can't imagine, like, you know, like we were talking about this, like Echebari, for example, or El Cano. It's kind of like looking at it from a distance. You're like, man, if that ever stops, if Vitor ever stops cooking, it should just close, and that's it. It should just finish with that because. But then again, have you seen his longtime sous chef opening Chispa?
Yeah, like a Japanese guy, right?
Looks fucking great.
Yeah, now they have like a big beef going on. They hate each other. I mean, Peter hates his the other guy.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Like, he's not happy about it at all. I mean, like, I don't know Peter, but the perception I have from him is to be like this, you know, hermit, grill master, not friendly.
Yes. I mean, I thought that because actually the Japanese guy who opened Chispa, he's been at Echebari for fucking ages. I met him in San Sebastian when he was working at Echebari in 2013. You know, I met him in like a pub, like drinking, and we talked a little bit, you know, and he's still there. You know, he was like he was living in like a mountain hut for like a really long time and just living the life there. And I thought that it must have been like with Vitor together, they opened this new place, but apparently not.
Not from what I've heard. I might be wrong, but that's the word in the streets.
See, you've got the inside Basque information.
What about restaurants, family restaurants that continue without let's say, imagine like the Tuago.
Yeah, or Bra.
Continuing it without the family, or Arsac for that matter, or I don't know.
Without any of the family, not the sons, not the daughters, not anything.
Exactly. Do you think something like that would make sense?
I mean, it's like what's happening to Robuchons, no? It's just, I mean, what is Robuchon?
Or Paul Bocuse.
Yeah, but what is that? You know, does anybody want to go to Paul Bocuse? Absolutely not.
I mean, that's actually a place where I didn't like the food especially.
Bocuse or Robuchons?
The Robuchon. Robuchon, I've never been to Bocuse.
Yeah, me neither.
It's also not on my list of places to go.
No, of course not. But it's just natural, no? Because you want to be part of the zeitgeist. You want to be there when it happens, you know? Bocuse is not there anymore. Robuchon is not there anymore. I'm sure it was fantastic when he was there, you know?
Of course. And they were, at some point, they were the best restaurant in the world.
Yeah.
You know, both of them. Like in different times and the most influential and innovative chefs. Bocuse, maybe 50 years ago, 40, I don't know. And Robuchon a little bit later, 30, 20, something like that. 30, more like 30, 40. Yeah. So if you get like a bonus card, you can visit one 3-star restaurant in Spain. What's your choice?
Anyone.
You can choose, but it has to be 3-star, and you can choose only one. What's on top of your list?
I would probably choose, just for the experience of it, and probably because the food's very delicious, I would probably go to Diverso.
Diverso.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can also not think of that many 3 Michelin star restaurants, to be honest, because I'm terrible.
I'm thinking like for me, the OGs, like the Godfather would be the Rocas.
Yeah. Can Roca, of course. I mean, that must be really, really, I'm sure that's just a fantastic experience with really cool food. Azurmendi can, stay away. I don't really want any of that.
I have 3 others that could easily be on my top. One is Diverso as well. I would say Nur from Paco Morales could also be there because I think it's crazy and creative what he does. And Disfrutar, man, because I think Disfrutar is the closest you can get to El Bulli nowadays. It's actually the continuation of El Bulli.
But do they have 3 Michelin stars?
Yeah, I recently found out as well.
Oh.
Yeah, there are like a lot 3-star restaurants right now in Spain. I don't remember how many, but around 15. That's a lot.
Yeah, 30. My list here says 13, but
exactly.
Disfrutar is not part of it. But one thing, I'd be kind of curious to go to a Berazategui restaurant also.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe it's just not as sharp. Like I feel like his cooking probably at one point was very delicious. But what also is kind of interesting is Aponiente.
Oh yeah, Aponiente with this whole Disfrutar double check has 3 stars. Yeah, Aponiente with all this seafood territorialism, super interesting, definitely.
It's very cool. But I stick to Diverso, and now that you've told me, Disfrutar also on the very top list.
Yeah, for me, Diverso, Disfrutar, and Can Roca.
Yeah,
and Nur would be like maybe place 4.
Nice.
That's it for this week's episode of Potluck Food Talks. If you like what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok as Potluck Food Talks. The show airs every Monday.